Welcome back, Gregory and Paul Show. I'm Gregory.
And I'm Paul.
We break down the latest SaaS startups AI. We have decided to cut our episode short. We want to aim for 30-minute episodes. Today will be the first experiment. See if you like the new format. Got a theme for today. The theme is, will OpenAI win the consumer AI race? It turns out their new device that they've been working on with Jony Ives has been leaked, and we'll touch on a couple other topics. Google's turning DeepMind into a product company. That's a rumor. There's some question about, are apps going to become a new form of media? They're so easy to make now. Are apps themselves going to be media?
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got some people on X who are going to chime in and give us their perspective on the consumer AI revolution. Paul, take us through what was actually leaked.
Yeah, so OpenAI has partnered up with Jony Ives to create a mystery hardware device. He said it was a necklace, it was a pendant,
Right.
it was another phone at one point that's similar to the iPhone. But this latest leak came out saying that it's going to be a speaker or like an Alexa style or Google Home style bi-directional speaker that you can interface with OpenAI with ChatGPT.
Yeah, there's no leaked photos, right? It just says like hockey puck or some kind of donut shaped speaker. So I'm assuming like it's going to be like, something you can carry around.
Yeah, I saw a couple leaks. There was like a ring type thing also leaked. I don't know, but I like this take that it's a speaker. You have a pretty good, interesting take on voice AI.
Yeah. So I met a guy in Silicon Valley one day at some event, and he had his own kind of like audio AI device. There was that AI pin device. I think audio AI is the right form factor for personal AI. I'm not bullish on glasses. I just think the glasses are there's just too many issues with them.
Yeah.
So they like walk around like someone that like listens to everything I'm saying, maybe listens to other people, can like create notes and stuff. So this guy I met like had his own prototype that he had created, and he's like, yeah, it just records everything, and then there's software, and it can like data mine the notes. And that's exactly what I think personal AI should be. And that sounds like a really useful product to me. There's privacy issues and stuff, right? So how do you tune people out, or how does that work? But I think that's an easier one to solve than the weird glasses, and they're taking like photos and stuff. It starts to go down this very pervy path I think people are really uncomfortable with. And I don't know the solution to that. I think the audio solution is better.
Less creepy. For sure, less creepy
Right.
than glasses, like the Meta or the Snapchat AI glasses, because it's just creepy. Regardless if it has a light that tells you if it's recording or not, it's just creepy. Like the voice a little bit better, and it's like localized, it's not moving around. Rumored it's going to cost $300, which I think is a little bit steep, especially if you have to pay for an OpenAI subscription on top of it. I would like to see a new offer, something like a yearly subscription, similar to what Amazon Prime offers with Alexa usage. They should give the speaker away for free on top of yearly subscription.
So assuming that this is correct, and I do want to point out that like in the Apple days with Ives and Steve Jobs, they were notorious for leaking things like this that looked I want to bring this up. They were very good at leaking something exactly as where the media and all the Apple and Mac blogs are like, this is it. It's confirmed. It's 100% true. And then it would not be true. Yep. So knowing Jony Ives was the king of this, because I believe that they would even create the 3D renderings that were fake and they would intentionally leak them. So it's very possible that Jony Ives is doing something like that. So with that, like, let's just get that out. Let's clear that out of the way. Assuming this is correct, why is this better than Alexa?
Well, that's
Alexa
really
was a smart speaker that like no one liked.
Yeah, because Alexa didn't work, right? Very similar to Siri, Alexa, tells you the weather report and then can play music. What else can it do? Kind of read the summary of news articles. AIs came a long way, so ChatGPT on voice mode actually works. You can actually have a 2-hour-long conversation with ChatGPT right now on your phone, and you can be productive. So technology has progressed. So timing is a huge factor.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the audio setting on ChatGPT, I use it on my phone. I will practice giving talks and like, presentations and stuff with it and get feedback from it. So
Totally.
yeah, that was not something I was able to do with Siri. It was kind of like a dumb speaker.
Yeah, you would
I was
not be
not
able to do that with Siri.
not a fan of that. So I'm into this. I also think that knowing Jony Ives and his ambition and vision for these types of things, I would imagine there's other devices. That there'll be some kind of watch, there'll be a speaker, there'll be
There's
other
going to be
types of things.
ecosystem of devices, right?
Yeah, I tend to think that that's what I would do if I was him, or at least I would propose and I would try to bring to market a couple of different devices that are all networked together. Did you say there was like a Ring camera style thing, right?
There was another hypothetical leak that's about like a wearable ring
Oh,
where
okay.
you can like take off your finger and then adjust. It'll be able to take snapshots of things around you. I've seen that.
It takes photos.
Yeah, it's a really weird thing where it's literally a wearable ring, and then you can kind of like morph it into a thing that you can record your desk.
Okay.
Super weird.
Yeah, I do think they'll come up with multiple stuff. If I was OpenAI, that's what I would want as well. So I think there's a lot of potential that OpenAI does crack consumer AI. Because you and I were talking last night, like, is this the peak of the AI bubble? There's all these announcements. NVIDIA made this like Knights of the Round Table financial platform where they got everybody on Wall Street to give them 500 million or put together $500 million to do infrastructure build out. Like it was Justice League moment. I'm just like, holy smokes, this is like a big, is that the peak? I tend to think that because like we haven't really cracked consumer AI, that it's actually not the peak. And something like this seems to be what's
So okay,
missing.
so do you think Sam Altman will crack consumer AI? They're definitely trying to borrow some Steve Jobs magic through Ives, right? Whether if they have the same synergy as Steve Jobs and Ives, I don't know. Steve Jobs was really good at pushing Ives to achieve more than he believed he could, and also like Sam Altman has made some really weird mistakes with the was that video platform that he launched. Also, he launched this like world iris scanner thing. Super weird.
That was weird. Yeah, I was not a fan of that. I think, I mean, what was I going to say? I think that they have to do it. That's my perspective on this. I
Yeah,
think
of course.
they've raised so much money. They've hired Jony Ives away from Apple. They're in a lawsuit with Apple. They have to do this and they have to win. If they don't win, it's like OpenAI doesn't work as a company. So,
Yeah, totally.
given the amount of money and talent and ambition that they have, I think like they have to make this work. So if that's the case, then it kind of brings us to our next topic about Google DeepMind. I think that like it ultimately puts them in competition with like Google.
100%. Yeah.
Apple hasn't made the investment in AI. They don't have a foundational model, or they don't have one public. They might have stuff, but they have not. They've been very quiet on the AI front. So I think this puts them in like direct competition with Google, because Google does have Google Home. They have home devices. They have phones. They have a
Technically
whole bunch of
Android as well. Yeah, exactly.
right. They have a whole bunch of places where that they could put Gemini on and make a competing product. So they have to like create a better user experience and a better ecosystem for consumers than Google. As a user of like a lot of these Google tools, I think the like total UX is quite poor. They don't work well together. They all have like individual sign-ons and platforms. Like if you're trying to
Yeah.
like use a bunch of different Google products together, like it's terrible. It doesn't work.
They don't talk to each other.
I have new Chromecast stuff that like it just won't cast. I don't know why. I've done everything. I couldn't figure it out. Like I went online, like no one could help me. I was like, I just gave up, right? Like there's always like weird hardware issues I get with Google hardware. It'll work in one place and not work somewhere else. So if like OpenAI can overcome that stuff and build a more seamless ecosystem that works well in a way like Apple does, right? You turn an Apple device on, it just for the most part works. I think that's what consumers want.
Yeah. They also have the distribution advantage. Like that's how they launched Gmail kind of to the consumer. They're really good at once in a while, once in a couple decades, they figure out the exact thing that people want and they build it, they ship it, and then they just become massive. Yeah. Very, very. So like I'm using Gemini more and more in everything, especially like on Google Analytics, inside my Drive. It's getting better and better every day. But also like AI search is getting really good now. I almost don't click on links anymore. I pretty much don't
I,
click on links anymore.
I agree. I use Gemini a lot. It was funny. I wrote something about how I switched to Gemini at one point, and the Google team even reached out to me, and I had a chat with them about like
Yeah, nice.
what I liked
So
about
like
Gemini.
they're doing
Mhm.
all the right things. They're very, very close on the heel of OpenAI at least. I don't think they have the same penetration to developers as Claude and Anthropic, but definitely consumer.
Well, it's interesting, like there's some rumors that perhaps what happened with like Demis leaving DeepMind is also part of a larger initiative to transform
Pivot
DeepMind into a
away.
more product focused company. Like he's
Yeah,
obviously like
I
a
like that
brilliant
take.
researcher. And so the chief scientist role now that opened up for him to take that on, it seems like a good fit. And then that would open the door to like have a more product oriented person running DeepMind who was working with like Google teams to figure out how to integrate AI into their products. Like very different type of like skill set required in order to be successful there. So I could totally see how that played into that announcement and would make sense if they're trying to deal with like, let's call it the threat from OpenAI.
From OpenAI. Yeah. I don't think like OpenAI is really stealing any search traffic from Google anymore. Well, the ads are still really good. Like the threat is the potential of taking over consumer.
Yeah, well, I
Very
think
just
I think if I was Google, I would take the release of device very seriously. Like that has the potential to change the game. And if OpenAI gets a large installed base of this stuff, like that's what will really move the needle. These types of things, like hardware is very difficult, but if you get enough devices out there and people like them, people use them,
huh,
you
uh-huh.
then you're onto something, right? Like Alexa was successful in the sense that they actually moved a lot of devices, but I had read data somewhere that was like they had like almost I try to like frame it correctly. Most people churned. That would be the right way to define it. They would get it, they would use it, but very few people continue with it. Like I don't know anyone who uses it now. Do you?
I don't use it.
So it would just people would just churn out, right? So if this new OpenAI thing doesn't have that, people get it and they continue to use it and they're happy with it and they have some installed base, then I think like they might have a hit on their hands. I still don't know how it fits into like the full ecosystem. Like I have a phone, I have a computer, I have an Apple Watch, which I like for like outdoor sports and stuff. So do I really need this like speaker donut thing?
They should ship it. If Google can figure out how to like sell to hotel chains and just have like a Google Home everywhere, that could work. That could work.
Yeah, those
So like
those
devices
strategies are
everywhere.
those are really hard, right? Because like hotels, they're fragmented. It just I've seen these things try to be implemented. The problem is like it works at one hotel, not another hotel, and then users are confused.
Yeah.
It's difficult. I mean, I think it's an interesting idea. Boutiques and stuff could do it. I could imagine that. Like I'm in New
Yeah.
York in Soho, and you walk in, and it's like boom, we've got all this cool stuff running. You know.
Well,
So
like
what do you think this? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
connected TV is kind of like the precursor to all of this, right? Like Google Chromecast is now uh, shifted with a lot of smart TVs. So like it's
Correct.
not that far of a leap to just say now you have a Gemini on your smart TVs. That is a software update away from full distribution
Yeah, but
across
what
every
people,
single
I
network.
don't know if anyone will use it. Like Alexa was on TVs. People have to, I guess, like they have to like, so I don't know. I guess I'm imagining I get this thing and I log in and it's my ChatGPT account.
Yeah,
That makes it attractive. And I might log into it on other devices
yeah,
because like it would have all of my information in there. So that's a big advantage. Like Alexa never really got there where there was a bunch of
no,
stuff that Alexa knew about me and made it really useful. Cause like I would be into oh, let me log in. I'm upstairs. I'm in the bedroom or something. And like, hey, help me find some restaurants. And it knows me and it knows it already knows a bunch of stuff about me. This has actually always been my vision for like conversational UI and an AI first UI is it should just know most of things about you. So if I ask it, I need to go somewhere for dinner tonight. it should know my location, know what I generally like to eat. Like, it should have some type of information and not need a bunch of like settings where I have to like pull this drop down and say what neighborhood I'm in. And I don't like Indian food, but
Exactly.
I like Italian food. Like, it should know all of that stuff and just like give you the right
Give you
information. So
recommendations.
I'm very excited about
Exactly.
that future. I do like that.
Exactly.
And I think consumers will really like that. It just knows. I mean, that part is like excellent. And then if that's the case and you have this great user experience, I do see it like maybe I log in on the phone and maybe I log in on the television and maybe I log in on other devices, right? If it's that good. It was the like not getting a great user experience and maybe not having an account that transferred with the user that I think ultimately made it difficult
Exactly.
for Alexa. Yeah, there wasn't enough value in it.
Okay, so circle back to the last one, right? We know how Google can like go to market. Well, what's OpenAI's go to market? Like, why should I care about this device?
Dude, getting hardware devices out there is hard.
It's
That is
super hard.
not easy. Like, are they gonna sell
Yeah,
them at Best Buy and put it on Amazon? Like just physically, how do you get the devices out there?
that's how Amazon did it with Alexa. It became for like a couple years, it became a hot holiday gift for guys to give to like other guys. It's like a $50 device. You want to give somebody a holiday gift, you buy them an Alexa. Clearly useless, but
Yeah,
why
I mean,
not?
OpenAI would have to. Would they open stores up? Like, there's just a lot that
Sell
has
them
to
at
happen
Best Buy?
there.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. I don't know.
There's a lot. There's a lot. What I was going to say earlier was like, is this the end game for like the AI bubble? Like, is the consumer piece the remaining
Yes,
piece that has to? Yeah, I tend to agree that what we've seen has all been B2B infrastructure build out, and we haven't seen a lot of consumer AI. And
correct.
this looks like the push is going to happen, which means like we're like halfway through the AI boom.
Correct. Yeah. Now is like the total addressable market has to be like everybody under the sun for VCs to get any kind of alpha return. Basically, they're looking for every single person to have multiple AI devices
Yeah.
in their house.
Yeah, OpenAI needs to sell 100 million of these things. Like, it needs
A
to be
hundred million. Correct.
a
Yeah. Or
massive
billions.
hit, a massive hit.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, like I have some interesting takes, right? Like I just think normal users like my wife, she still thinks AI to be unreliable. For people
Yeah,
to kind of get past that hurdle, it's going to take a lot of education and a lot of like spoon feeding. And that is super expensive. Internet took what 20 years for people to stop thinking it's this just like weird thing and it becomes actually useful. So like you basically have to either train people to use this device or you pay people to actually care about it. Companies might have to subsidize the usage by a lot for people to
yeah,
adopt.
I agree. I agree. So, okay, this is a nice segue into like this one thing I found on Business Insider that was about consumer tech and venture capitalists
Nice.
now pumping money into like new social networks and these AI first platforms that make apps as content. And the premise is that maybe apps just become shareable content in the way that video, audio, and images are. I think the premise is quite important in this discussion because like if these devices take third-party apps, then you have a whole new explosion in like very interesting AI apps. But I think the potential and what I like about this story is that if everyone's vibe coding them and using like tools like Lovable, right, that are
Yeah,
for like
that's right.
regular people, then like
Yeah, that's right.
everyone just makes apps. Like that is the content. It's no longer like
Yeah.
the app ecosystem of the iPhone was about small teams, developers, nerds, like forward-thinking technologists who built rather robust applications that were pretty sophisticated. Like Uber is complicated, like using GPS and you're calling, like there's all kinds of stuff happening. So the idea that like you just make these games and like apps become the content, I think is like, I don't know if it's correct, but I do think that this thesis has the potential to perhaps provide a new wave of social media. Maybe it's not even connected to these open AI and Google AI devices. Maybe they're all like internet based still and they just work on phones. But
Yeah.
I see this like almost competing or converging opportunity because I do think people want I think people want a new device that's fun and different. And I like audio. And I do think they want to put their own apps on it. And they do want to share those apps with other people. Like I think
Yeah.
all of those things are like things that consumers want to do. They want to do them with AI. And we're not there yet. But I think that like all these people are like pointing in the correct direction. Like this is where where it's all headed. At least that's what I see.
No, I think it's a good analysis. It's interesting that you said like social media. I I think we're in this like weird cycle where there's absolutely zero room for a new human-driven social media. Nobody wants another social media. Lots of people try, but like there is definitely room for a agentic or app-based social media. That will be interesting because like the nature of reputation and unit of work is changing. So like on a human-based social media, the reputation is tied to your name, it's tied to your work, your your presence and your authority. But like with AI agents, we don't have any kind of that infrastructure. We have no idea if an AI agent is reputable or not. So there's no economy of buying services directly from an AI agent. So like a social media could change that. And like the way for AI agents to build reputation could just be delivering and shipping apps, useful
I'm
apps.
I'm with you 100%. I think that like maybe that's the twist that we're not seeing is that Alexa is not the right model for what this new device is. The new device is an agent, or the new device allows you to create agents, or you can install agents, or you can share agents. I think the agentic aspect of all of this is underexplored, and I
Yeah,
do think it's coming.
100%. It's
And
coming.
I
Yeah.
and I never thought of it in the consumer context. You know, you and I do a lot of B2B stuff, so I always think of it in a B2B like way, but consumer agents. Like I can see people just coding their own agent with Lovable because it's fun and they just send it out there and it doesn't do a whole lot. It just connects with their friends or tells jokes or it reminds me of those early Facebook apps like you were bit by a vampire and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, right? I could see a
Smart bet.
whole resurgence of that where they're very easy for people to make and people have fun, like sending this little agent out and doing things and it interacts with other agents and it comes back. I mean, it's kind of how like a lot of virtual video games work
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah, I see a ton of potential.
I don't think it needs to be a social media. It just needs to be like a publishing website. So like back in
Yeah.
the days, there's addicting games, Newgrounds, where people publish like these weird apps or games too.
Newgrounds. I
Yeah,
love
like
Newgrounds.
we should have that where it's all agent led.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Take us through these two X posts. These are relevant to the discussion today.
Yeah. Okay. Super relevant. So somebody named Signal, who's that if anonymous influencer on X tweeted this about a few weeks ago, which plugs directly into our episode. He said, I predict we'll see a breakthrough consumer AI product within the next 12 months that rivals ChatGPT and Claude by making personal agents genuinely useful and accessible. If you will feel like electricity, nearly all the seeds required to create this experience now exist. Somebody just has to assemble them correctly. 100% agree.
100%. I think I think he summarized everything we've said. It's like the whole platform is there now for someone to create some kind of AI agentic consumer explosion of, I don't know, interest, apps, whatever it is. Like I'm convinced it's coming.
Yeah. It's interesting that he did not say that it will come out of ChatGPT or Claude. He says it will rival ChatGPT and Claude. Very interesting take.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why I was like, you know, like, look, if I was Jony Ives, I'd want everyone to think what I'm making is Alexa, but what I'm actually making is something different. And that's why I think like it might have an app store, an app ecosystem, because I think the world wants something like that. And that was like a big part of like the iPhone's maybe early success. There was do you remember that like the beer app? There are all these like kind of dumb apps for $1 and they were kind of fun and they showed like the potential, the device. If I was Jony Ives, I would advocate for something like that. Like we need some kind of developer ecosystem, vibe coded developer ecosystem, vibe app ecosystem that makes it easy to do like fun things with this. And that's not anywhere right now. Like there's no device or ecosystem right now where there's like a bunch of people playing around and doing clever things. That's why I thought this like idea or this investment that's happening into apps as content is the like almost like it's the lens to look at all this stuff through.
Very interesting. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Very, very interesting. Pivot away from whatever we're doing right now. So and then, okay, there's a second tweet.
One more.
This is the last one by Josh Elman. He got famous for being the director of product management at Apple. He literally led product marketing for Apple Intelligence and a whole bunch of like Siri related work. And like he also invested into a whole bunch of category defining consumer apps like Medium, Discord, Digly, which became TikTok. So like this guy knows what he's talking about. And he joined A16Z to lead their consumer AI.
It's coming.
It's coming. A16Z is always ahead of the game. They know what's up. They know what is up.
That's it. That's the new format. Was that fun?
Yeah, that was awesome. Okay,
excellent.
See you guys.
All right, everybody. We'll be back next week. Bye-bye.
Dude, that was short and sweet.